thinking about this before I go to the gym, and your level of faith in God can be measured by how much you complain. Let me explain to you what I mean. See, there's a difference between complaining and being concerned. I have things going on in my life that causes me to have a level of concern, but I don't complain. There's sometimes situations that I might have to go through that causes me a level of concern, but I'm not going to complain. I believe that whatever God puts me in, whatever situation God has put me in, He already has the end figured out. But I believe that He will bring me to a situation, and that situation is meant to grow me. That situation is meant to bring something out of me that He needs to be birthed into the world. So I can't complain. You see, a lot of times complaints come because you are leaning on your own understanding. My son, I spoke about this yesterday about football, and today is his last game. I woke him up this morning. I'm like, hey man, come on, let's go. It's time. So he gets up and he's like, Dad, I said, we already had this discussion. I ain't gonna say it no more. And in that moment, I start to think, I'm like, maybe he doesn't understand the bigger picture here that I'm trying to get him to understand. So I took that time out right then, and I addressed the issue right then and let him know, although you may not see what I'm trying to do, your trust in me should override any of that, because I have never led you astray. Now, it's easy for people to say that about, your kids or, people that you feel like you've never let down. But when it comes to God, there's a different context to that. You see, a lot of us have been hollering out, crying to God to get us out of a situation, and we don't realize the blessing. See, the blessing is we are in the fire and we're not getting burned. It's uncomfortable, but we're not getting burned. Think about that. We are in some mess, but we don't smell like it. While we're in it, it seems bad, but there have been other people that have been in the same situation that you're in right now, and they have lost their mind. It's because of how you're viewing God. And yesterday I talked about how you view God would be that version of what you get. How you view God will be the version of what you get. See, if you are always talking about how God is a way maker, so when you're in these situations that you don't understand how you're going to get out of it, if you view God as a way maker, you okay. See, life doesn't mean that you're not going to have adversities, but life gets that much easier when you know who is in control. There was some segment of years of my life that I thought I was in control. And when I didn't have control, that's when I prayed to God. So guess what started happening? I kept being in situations that I wasn't in control because God wanted to hear from me. So as I matured physically, mentally, and spiritually, what I started understanding is, okay, you know what? There's so much power in the tongue. And sometimes your life isn't changing because of what you speak. You see, if you're always on social media speaking about how everybody's doing you wrong and this, that, and the other, you're inviting that in your life. You're not speaking life, so this is what you get. I was talking to someone one time. It was a young lady, and she was telling me about all of the stuff that she had been going through concerning men. I listened to her, and then I stopped her. And I said, listen, I am no therapist. I am no relationship counselor. But I told her, I said, do you mind me, giving you some advice? And she said, yes. And I said, you talk too much. And she said, what? I said, you talk too much. And this is what I meant. You go into these conversations with these men and you're telling this man everything that went wrong in your past relationship. And if this man has game, he will just listen to what you're saying the last person did and do the complete opposite. So if you're telling this man, he never made time for me, then guess what? He gonna make time for you. He never, made me feel special. Guess what? He gonna make you feel special until he gets what he wants. And after he gets what he wants, he's gonna be who he is. That's why I said people can only fake for so long. Now here you are, moving on to the next one, and you're saying the same thing. You are speaking too much because there's power in the tongue. So you are inviting the very thing that you are saying is tearing you down. You're talking too much. So that's my message today. For anybody out there that's going through some stuff and you feel like God ain't hearing you, you like, man, God just got me in this, that, and other. You're complaining because of your level of faith in God. There is power in the tongue. What are you speaking? That's why I had to let a lot of people go, man. I had to cut a lot of people up out of my life because there's power in the tongue and there's power in who you choose to incorporate with. They say birds of a feather flock together, right? And here's the thing. When someone is a complainer, always, a Debbie Downer, whatever, and you choose to hang around them, when the people see you from the outside, they don't say, yeah, this person is a Debbie Downer and then this person is just with them. No, they're going to say, man, look at them some Debbie Downers, because you get lumped into it. So I had to start separating myself, not because I was better, but I understood the power of being united. So that's my message to anybody out there right now, is that you have to understand that we focus on the big sins, but it's the small ones that's really going to get you. Complaining shows the lack of faith that you have in God. Some people wake up and complain about the job that they have, but if you look back 4 years ago, God never told you to take that job. He never told you. Some people are complaining about the relationship that they have. Look, 2 years ago, God never told you to get in that relationship. So now you're complaining because you think God ain't hearing you. Sometimes you are in the situations that you are in simply because you chose to take that path.